look on Facebook, you'll find that they're all plagued by groups that are anti each of these groups. And even just on social media, if you look at the comments on any of these pages, they're filled with hate and prejudice.
And in his teaching said, listen, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places, plants were scorched, and they withered it because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants, so that they did not bear grain. Still, other seed fell on good ground, on good soil. It came up, grew, and produced a crop. Some multiplying 30, some 60, some 100 times.
Just general thoughts and feelings and sharings of how you're touched or what's alive in you.
I like to say something. Very, very special place to my students. And ever since that day, I've been struggling with how can I tell my students that they are safe? How can I tell my students that they are safe in this world? And as a teacher, that's all I want is for my students to feel safe and feel welcome and feel loved where they were. And many of them knew someone who died. I mean, Miss Singleton was the track teacher at our high school. So it hit pretty close to home. And thousands and thousands of us walked through the streets of Charleston and we held hands across the Ravenel Bridge and reacted out of love and not hate. And almost exactly a year later, there was another tragedy, another mass shooting. And so this is just bringing up a lot of sadness and a lot of fear for the students that I work with.
We were really overwhelmed because in a year's time, the amount of people who died just in Chicago, and by police alone, it's staggering that this has become a norm. And the best thing I can think about it is to take people out of their norm and say something, and so that this isn't our norm.
Ourselves. That's a heavy burden. Hate against ourselves and our people of color, all people of color, and humanity, because we all hurt. Some more inadvertently.
I wish I had heard it because I would have said something.
So
I've
my
been exhausting myself, and I don't think I'll ever feel exhaustion. But I think that's what white people need to do, is start exhausting yourselves. Stand up that much that you're exhausted, please.
And then also, with respect to responses, people of color are judged. We have a right to be angry. We have a right to that. We have a history and a legacy of harm to us as a people. And yet we get judged and stereotyped as angry black people when we stand up for ourselves.
Go, yeah.
I just want to go off the theme of Jesus also being a revolutionary and love as an action word. And until we recognize that this movement, this the way it is, this evil, this racism wasn't created by God, and we don't have to be passive. We can, as Vicky was saying, put action to our words. We can join forces so that we can defeat evil wherever it shows its face. And here in Vermont, I've experienced such racism and a lot of other people such racism, and it's something to be said when we don't feel comfortable walking down the street alone. Like, that's pretty serious. Like, not because we'll get robbed, but because we're black and because we're people who have brown skin or skin of color. And that's very superficial.
Exhausted then, you're friends of color, because it's ridiculous how, one of the things I was thinking about is people, I've heard this in Vermont. I've heard, well, there's only microaggressions. As if that's a slow death. And it's not okay.
Vermont is killing me. I don't know many people my age and older who were born and raised here. I am one. I know one other person that's older than me, other than my siblings. I don't know a lot of people. But it's taken its toll on me. And I've done everything I could do in my lifetime to prove my equality. No matter what letters I have next to my name, it does not protect me or keep me safe. It does not protect me from the impact of racism in every facet of my life. The fact that I have a master's degree and I work in mental health, it doesn't matter. It doesn't protect me because I still experience racism in that capacity. And I fail to have an infrastructure that supports my professional development as a black woman, as a clinician, as a professional.
And I think one of the things to keep waking up here in Vermont is to be aware that this is a state. The Ku Klux Klan is very alive and well. The Confederate flag is flown for white supremacy, and it's something that happens. It's happened to your family, and I'm getting exhausted at saying it's not okay, and that it's time for actual action. And I like that somebody mentioned that love is an action, and from when I grew up in a place in North Carolina where white people were the minority. So I grew up knowing civil rights and what it meant, and direct action and love was talked about. And love, as I learned to define it, is listening, observing, validating, and empathizing. And that's why we say Black Lives Matter, is because we have to validate it. And the fact that we have to validate it is that's the very issue, right? But we have to validate.